What's going on, boys? Today we're talking a bit about any, a function we don't talk about at length too often. Now, little dark age edits are beginning to die off in social consciousness, but they were important to me when they kicked off, and they're still important now. I've had a hard time putting a finger on why they're so important to me, but I just watched one that makes it make sense, and conveniently explains extroverted intuition. Now, most Little Dark Age edits will flash around 20 to 200 images over the course of 2 to 6 minutes. This one flashed like 600 images in 1 minute and had different images fading in and overlaying and twisting around as the other images are going on. And that seems like it would be hard to follow, but what's interesting is it formed one composite image using all the other smaller images. Now, if you took any one of those images out of the edit and looked at it individually, the message would be completely different. However, taken all together, you get that composite image. And it isn't an image you can see, but it's one you understand. Example, you take a magnifying glass to a newspaper. You see a few little black dots, and you think, these little black dots make no sense. But then you remove the magnifying glass and zoom out a bit, you see all the little black dots forming a face. All those little things came together to make one big thing. You've created one large composite instance using countless smaller instances. And NE is often described as a web. What does that mean? Well, it isn't just the phenomenon I just described. It is the fact these composite images become nodes, information files that get added to, among countless other composite images, nodes, all webbed together in their own even larger composite, which itself is probably an even larger composite. And you can go as high or as low with this as you want. And ENFP introduced me to a fun game called Discussing Dirt. How long can you share another conversation with a person in which your sole subject is dirt? It's a fun game. You'd be surprised how long you can carry a conversation like that. But the reason you can carry that conversation and the reason the game is fun is because it's exercising extroverted intuition. You can come at it with history, anecdotes, science, whatever, but what you're doing is you are deploying and developing your information nodes. Dirt serves as a flat, simple, seemingly meaningless foundation to work from. Maybe you share stories about dirt in your childhood, and now you are building your image of what childhood is, or what you think of it now. Maybe you learn about an agricultural war, a war that happened over a particular sort of soil. Now you're thinking about history, politics. You're building that composite image. You're feeding extra information into it. In all cases, you are building files linked with other files, linked with other files to build larger file that links with larger files, that links with larger files, that links up to even larger files. You are experiencing, observing, cataloging all the different little ways every little thing affects every other little thing. That's one of the reasons NE types can come off as rambly. If you're an NI type, let's go back to the newspaper. Imagine you're trying to explain the image of the face using only your ability to explain each dot one by one. As the person you are explaining this to is glancing between you and their watch. If you come out and say, I'm describing a face, they're going to call you stupid because they don't see all the different ways all those little dots connect. But if you go dot by dot, you are taking up a lot of time. But the dots are just as important as the image they create. Because if you don't have the dots, you don't have the image. If you don't have the image, you don't have whatever you're going to do or whatever you need to know about that image. Right, so right now, we're looking at any, the dots, the newspaper, as if it were on a wall. Now take it off the wall, turn it horizontal. Now it's turned from an image to a map. And all those little points are real things that are bumping into each other. Real life. These big things are happening. But they're made up, these big events are made up of all these little dots. And if you don't understand all the little dots, how can you hope to grasp the larger picture? And then situate your larger picture among other larger pictures. You just proved you can't connect little dots. How can you connect larger dots? That's why NFPs will hold you still while they get out their phone and prepare to commit verbal diarrhea on you. It's imperative you understand Gundam to understand poverty. That's why ENTPs will start trying to explain something, realize nobody gives a shit, and then talk about something else while feeling increasingly depressed inside. That's why INTPs have sticks up their asses. That's why STJs are so funny, and why SFJs are so relatable, at least to me. And I think, ultimately, that's why Little Dark Age edits mean so much to me. They are composites of things that are impossibly hard to explain, but important, oftentimes beautiful. And that song is perfect for expressing the impossibility of explaining these things at length, yet the beauty or the importance of the composite image they create, or even just the feeling they create when put together, and the impossibility of expressing that feeling. It's a difficult weight. If you are an NE type, your response to someone's not understanding is probably, instinctively, to talk even more. And you know that is exactly not what they want. Yet, if they aren't getting it, you have no other means of explaining it to them other than to explain a million other things, even more than before. And it doesn't work, and it stinks, but their not understanding doesn't mean it isn't there. Just know that if you hide, it doesn't go away. Dude, I'm telling you, some collective unconscious shit has been happening with that. It can feel impossible sometimes. Between NPs and SJs, there's always this sense someone can see you're building a composite, but they think you're full of shit, or they don't care. Sometimes you'll run into people whose webs overlay and connect with yours in a way that makes sense, and it's beyond fulfilling when that happens. Sometimes you'll meet people who will humor you. But what's fascinating is NI type's reaction to NE. SPs, I've noticed, are averse to the idea anything could affect anything else. Not even on the abstract level. And with NJs, they can see that you're performing NE, and they get annoyed by it, because they think NI does it better. Explains the way different things affect each other anyway. Where to an NE type, it looks like they're jumping to conclusions way too quickly, or are dismissing important information as useless. Now, neither of those are always the case, but it's a sticking point I've seen pop up a number of times, worth noting. Composites and webs. Every piece of information is useful, and learning and enjoying all the ways those pieces interact and form larger images is the fun. But that about rippity wraps this one up. I hope you enjoyed watching, because I certainly enjoyed making it. Go watch some memes. Like if you enjoyed, because it helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't, because we do this shit sometimes. And comment your thoughts, because I love hearing from you. What are your experiences with NE as an NE type, or NE as an NI type? Thanks again for watching, everybody. Really, we have a lot of fun on this channel. So much fun, in fact, you can really rush it to try to keep it under 10 minutes. That's how much fun we have on this channel, and I look forward to doing this with you guys again in the future.